in every sport.
You could.
Walk with me, Hilton Head, South Carolina. Let's see what went down last night between Kevin Durant and Patrick Beverley. First undercard of the night, Game 3. You know the storyline by now. These two been jawing back and forth. KD was triggered. Kevin Durant used himself in the third person in his pregame press conference, and then he played basketball at a really high clip. Here, it sets off, gets around Beverley, mid-range jumper. Again in the first, Bogut again sets a screen on Beverley, down low. Durant again makes another jumper. Next possession, Bogut, another screen on Beverley. You can see the game plan early on. Get rid of Beverley, isolate Kevin Durant, and he would take advantage. 5 of 5, 12 points in the first quarter for KD. Second quarter up big. Durant in transition draws the bucket and the foul on Beverley. Durant 27 points in the first half, made 9 contested shots in the first half, only made 5 makes on contested shots in the previous 2 playoff games combined. It was a big first half. Of the first half, Steph Curry would say, quote, as much momentum as we lost in the final 16 minutes of Game 2, we got it back early. A little bit of drama here with Beverley. This time he's going after Steph Curry. He said it appears that KD wasn't going to have any of it, so go after Steph. And in the third, things staying chippy. JaMychal Green gets called for the offensive foul, and then watch. Both are assessed technical fouls.
Oh.
Durant can't believe it. That's a story because it's his third of the playoffs. 7 gets you a 1-game suspension. He doesn't care, though. Hits the 3 despite being knocked down. 38 points in total for KD. Warriors win 132-105. So what about it, Durant?
Did you try to make it a point to come out and kind of remind people exactly who you are with all the talk that's been going on in this series?
I've been in for 12 years and I'm 30. I don't need to show nobody nothing at this point.
What did you see about Kevin's mindset tonight?
He was aggressive from the start at both ends. He attacked. You know, he said it yesterday. He's Kevin Durant, and so he showed everybody who Kevin Durant is.
Where did things go wrong today?
When we showed up.
I see every morning in screening.
I was going to say.
Now, where's it? Well, when I walked in.
Yep.
Durant tied the most points in a playoff game by any player with 30 minutes or fewer in the shot clock era. That dates back to 54 and 55. He tied his fellow Longhorn, LaMarcus Aldridge, who did it against Durant in 2016. KD's current teammate, Steph Curry, checks in at third on the list.
Matt, every good boxer needs a jab, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, these two dudes aren't boxers, so their jabs are verbal. I'm talking about Jared Dudley and Ben Simmons, the war of words last night. You'll remember that Brooklyn decided to throw a little bit of shade, right? With this poster yesterday, it says, have you seen his jumper identifying characteristics just average? That's because Jared Dudley essentially says Ben Simmons a great player in transition. Once you slow him up on the court, I think he's average. And Simmons said,
What do you think of that? Let's go from Jared Dudley. Come on.
ooh, burn. Know your place, Jared Dudley. Third quarter, Simmons and Dudley. The madness continues. Dudley switches on J.J. Redick and fouls him from 3, and then he's yelling, he's upset, and Simmons is giving him the side eye. That was subtle. Not so subtle, this one. This is good. This is a very petty highlight, Matt. Later in the third quarter, Dudley, look at the air ball. Oh, I mean, it wasn't great. And look at Ben Simmons' reaction, just very demonstrative. Throws his arms in the air. Like, what happened, son? Dudley finished 0 for 2 from the field. He had 0 points. But let's get back to what actually factored in, and that was Ben Simmons last night. With his team up 7, pass here, banks in the floater. Simmons, 31 points, 11 for 13 shooting, 9 assists. Dudley said, listen, I give it to him. He played absolutely phenomenal. Certainly didn't look average there. Sixers up 117-105. Redick to Simmons to Tobias Harris for the finish. Sixers now at 14. Harris himself, great game, 29 points, 16 rebounds. I'm going to play devil's advocate here, Matt. We didn't actually show him do any jump shots.
Ben Simmons?
Right? Like, Ben Simmons didn't do that. However, as far as the beef goes, he's done with it.
Ben, do you think Jared Dudley still thinks you're average in half-court play?
No, I'm not worried about it. Dudley hit that three-point, actually airballed the three-pointer. I saw you look at him. Was there something extra there?
I don't really have energy for it, man. Honestly, it's done. People are going to say what they want to say. It is what it is. I just got to play.
How average did Ben Simmons look tonight?
Not very. He's an all-star for a reason. One of the most dominant players in this league for a reason. And he showed up when we needed him.
Show up he did. Here's a by-the-numbers look at the Sixers' performance. Ben Simmons, 11 for 13 from the floor. The 84.6 field goal percentage is the highest in a 30-point game in 76ers playoff history. Not so average. Simmons also led the way for a Philly starting five that scored 111 points. That's the most for the Sixers starters in a playoff game since the NBA began tracking starters in 1970-71. And Tobias Harris, 29 of those points, went 6 for 6 from three-point range, tied for the second most three-point makes without a miss in a playoff game in.
We can do it. There we go.
What if I told you that the most impactful player in the postseason
was Dixie?
Okay, well, or Derek White. Spurs trying to get one up, but yeah, there it is. Listen, the kid's been fantastic. This is just his third career playoff start. The man was on fire yesterday. He just kept driving. So much intensity. He was on the attack the whole night. You see him there, baseline, lays it in. Less than 20 seconds to go in the half. White with the steal. And then just like, who hurt you?
Dixie.
White's 26 first-half points, the most by a Spurs player in any half of a playoff game since Tony Parker in 2009. You don't say. Spurs up 3 at the half. Fourth quarter, he could give 2. Marco Bellinelli drains 3. Next possession, White was fantastic in the paint. More on that in a minute. And 1. Almost loses control, but doesn't. You remember Jamal Murray had all these fourth-quarter heroics in Game 2. Big reason why the Nuggets came back. Apparently that triggered Derek White. He was like, it's me. Well, heat check there. White with a career-high 36 points. He is the first Spur to score at least 35 points before the age of 25 since Tim Duncan. I wonder how Dixie would feel about that.
She loves it. Loves it.
He's a fan. So is Pop.
Coach, what was your impression of Derek tonight?
Yeah, he's okay. He's okay. I have to answer that question. You were at the game, right? He was obviously spectacular. I don't know what else to say.
There's no doubt in my mind that Derek White, the last couple of days, has been reminded about Jamal Murray's fourth quarter performance. Derek White came out like he hadn't eaten in 2 days. He came out hungry. He came out pissed off, and he sent a very loud and clear message. Now, I'm anxious to see our guys, how do we respond to that? Where is your pride? You know, where's your toughness? Where's your grit? So Game 4 is going to be really like a great insight into who we are as a team, especially our young players, especially Jamal Murray. Great fourth quarter. We win the game in Game 2. Well, he's going to learn as a young kid, it can't be just one quarter. It's got to be every night if you want to be a really good basketball player, especially in the playoffs. And that's going to be part of his development and a part of his maturation, and I have to help him with that.
Well, maybe he'll be triggered by Derek White, who I mentioned was great in the paint, 12 for 14. In the last 20 postseasons, only Kobe Bryant, D. Wade, and Kyrie Irving scored more points in the paint over a single game. White, as I also mentioned, finished with 36 points, his most during his young NBA career.
Let's talk more playoffs now. NBA senior insider Adrian Wojnarowski joining us this morning. The story last night when it was released, Joel Embiid would not play. He did not, so curious what his status is now going forward.
This is really going to be game to game with this left knee tendonitis and what his threshold for the pain is going to be in these playoffs. They're going to have a hard time, Philadelphia, getting where they want to go with Joel Embiid missing games in the postseason. They may be able to get out of this Brooklyn series, but the idea of beating Toronto with Joel Embiid not playing 6 or 7 games, that's going to be a tall order for Philly. And this problem isn't going away in the postseason. Only rest recovery is going to help him. He can't get that till the offseason.
Even with Ben Simmons playing lights out, he certainly was last night. Let's talk about a team that is not in the postseason, but it's the Lakers. So it's always a good time to talk about them. About a week since they let Luke Walton go. Where are we at with the job search there?
I'm told Tyronn Lue will meet with Lakers GM Rob Pelinka today. That's their first sit down in this process. And the other top candidate in this, Monty Williams, a Philadelphia assistant coach, he met with Pelinka Tuesday in Philly, and I'm told that there's an expectation on both sides that they're going to talk again here.
Yeah, and this is probably one of the most high-profile jobs in the NBA, if not the most, because of the player attached and the market attached. It'll be interesting to see if LeBron gets one of his former guys in there. You'll be all over it. We know. Adrian Wojnarowski with us this morning. Sir, thank you.
Lillard, bang, from way downtown. Portland takes game 1. Westbrook on the clock. He is 3 for 15. Lillard with a 30-foot. They got a 2-0 feeling.
I got to play better. And tonight, the loss, I'm going to take full responsibility of.
NBA players can buy a lot, right? But the Thunder can't buy a bucket against Portland. They are shooting 3 for 27 on three-pointers off passes from Russell Westbrook, the NBA's regular season assist leader. Then again, OKC finished 22nd in three-point shooting in the regular season. That's tied for the worst mark among all playoff teams. We have missed her, but we are bringing her in. WNBA superstar, NBA analyst Chiney Ogwumike. Maybe a change of scenery will help the Thunder dig out of an 0-2 hole. But if that's the case, Chiney, who on OKC is going to have to step up and be key?
Well, I know Russell Westbrook is the day one. He's the OG. He's the king of triple-doubles for OKC. But I think the key piece is really Paul George because he is their best perimeter scorer, and that unlocks their offense. If you think about Paul George from three, he shoots 10 threes per game, double anyone else on the roster. He will need to take them and make them for them to be able to attack the paint. And here's the good news for OKC fans if you think about it. He had a better game, 27 points, and he shoots the ball better at home from three than he does when he's away. So 42% from three at home versus 35% from three when he's on the road. So if Paul George is knocking down perimeter shots, playing at an all-star MVP level, they have a chance to win.
And you get to say, these two are in sync and on top of their game. They're a really, really tough basketball team to beat. Let's go now to the Eastern Conference. Celtics lead Boston, 2-0 series lead against the Pacers. They feel good about themselves. Kyrie's in a great mood, but what challenges does Boston have now leaving home?
The challenges for Boston, for the Celtics, it's themselves. It's their chemistry. If you think about them, they played Celtics basketball down the stretch in Game 2, and they'll need to do this again on the road against a very gritty team. And this is Celtics basketball right here. Jason Tatum being very patient, makes the extra pass. One of my favorite plays, Jaylen Brown draws two, kicks out, biggest shot of the night, not from Kyrie, who had a tremendous game, but then again, look at them handling the pressure. They played Celtics basketball down the stretch. It's easy to do that at home in TD Garden where your fans are roaring your name, saying MVP, but they really need to do this on the road. Their chemistry is the #1 factor for them.
There was a lot of infighting on this team, and I think they attributed a plane ride to Cali earlier in the season as the reason they were able to
The plane ride this time is way shorter.
It's real short, so it'll be like speed dating chemistry version, right? Like just real.
Okay, swipe right on your teammates.
Exactly. A little Tinder check.
I mean, Biggie said it best when you're going back.
Back to
Indiana?
Indy.
Yeah. I was on the remix version.
Well, yeah, everyone knows that. Triple header NBA playoffs tonight, 7 Eastern. We get the fun started. Then the nightcap back on ESPN. Got an ABC fun sandwich right in the middle. Celtics Pace all the games on the ESPN app, so you can bring them with you anywhere or watch 2 at once.